What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and cryptocurrency, where we feel like cryptocurrency is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, and it's not even close. So, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. We're pumped to have you on the show this morning. Corey, take it away.
What's going on, guys? Corey Geary here out in Puerto Rico, where I am absolutely loving life, having a blast doing this crypto journey with you guys, where we're going to use crypto as that wealth creation tool and then use real estate as that wealth preservation tool down the road when the timing allows it. And Dane hit the nail on the head. We are in the right place at the right time, and there's no other asset class like crypto, especially the RH ecosystem, and which that kind of brings us to our topic today. And we want to be careful about giving away our RH tokens for casino plays. And we'll dive deep into that ideology today. But man, I see it everywhere. The scams, the Ponzi's, the just the meme coins, which I got no problem with meme coins. I feel like they have their use case. But man, it's just not worth giving up your blue chip assets for some of these degenerate plays that I'm seeing everywhere on Twitter. I'm just like, man, I've learned my lesson, Dane. This last, market cycle. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've talked about the time I've got, when we went a little too deep, especially myself, in the stupid Pulse Bitcoin ecosystem. And that was a complete rug pull, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. There might be an opportunity in the future for it to recover. But man, even if it recovers 1-2 years down the road, what was your opportunity cost in the short term where you could use that economic energy towards PulseX, some good old hacks? That opportunity cost could be 1,000x, maybe more. And so it's just not worth it to me, even if it does recover.
Agree 100%. And if you look back, in fact, there's been a number of very large bag holders that we've had the pleasure to get to know that were big holders in Ethereum. And time again, those guys have pointed out the fact that if you were in the Ethereum network or on the Ethereum blockchain, there were very few tokens that outperformed Ethereum in the last few market cycles. And that's the name of the game on any layer one blockchain. Are you buying things that could outperform the layer one token? And time again, it goes to show that there are opportunities like that, but they tend to be very far and few in between. And so depending upon how you want to scratch that itch and how you want to play the game, there's lots of ways that you could. But Corey and I will tell you a little bit about our strategy. So, and Corey and I are a little bit different in this respect. And so it's cool to be able to have different perspective. So for me, I want to make sure that I'm holding, I'm about 90%, maybe a little bit more in blue chip assets, like Corey's saying. And blue chip to me is the RH stuff. So I like pulsechain, I like pulseX, and I like my hex. I already have my hex bags packed. I've had them packed for a while. I've got my pulseX because I sacrificed for pulseX. And so my priority now is to be building my pulsechain bags as much as humanly possible in these ranges that we have right now. And in fact, I was talking with one of our group members, and he said, and it's funny how my brain tends to do this. He's like, Dane, well, why don't, and full what's it called?
Disclosure.
Full disclosure. Thank you. He's newer to crypto. And he said, Dane, so like, I don't understand why we're buying crypto and just waiting. Why don't we just buy it when it's cheap and sell it when it's high? And we just do that a number of times until the next market top. We'll make so much more. And I said, have you tried to do that before? He's like, well, no. And I was like, well, I can tell you from personal experience that is at least for me has been extremely difficult. And we're way better off just buying the things that we believe in, generating passive income, and being patient with it. And so my priority, once again, for me, is to get as much pulsechain as humanly possible this year, because this year is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest opportunity with the cheapest pricing in order to accomplish that. And I don't want to give away my pulsechain really for anything. If I'm going to gamble on something, I'll bring in some new money. But pulsechain to me is sacred, and I'm playing it that way. So that's my priority and what I'm doing. Corey, does yours do your bags vary very much?
Not in the not ideology right there that you just kind of hit the nail on the head with, but I would even say even if you're bringing new money in to play some of these casino games, which I understand everyone needs to do a little bit to kind of scratch that itch, and there's nothing wrong with in very little right of your bag, but even with new money, that could be new money you could be allocating towards Pulse, right? The blue chip assets. So once again, what's your opportunity cost for buying that gamble token or whatever you're putting your money into versus putting it into Pulse, and it could be massive.
I agree, especially
Yeah.
at these levels. I mean, like you're saying, imagine even like call it a 50x from here if we're being, like relatively conservative. Every $1,000 theoretically you put in these levels could be $50,000 in 2 years. And that's what plays in my head every single time I go and I put money into something else. I'm like, is this $50,000 gamble worth it? And there's a few places, in my opinion, that it makes sense, but very few.
120%. And I would say, if you want to scratch the degen itch a little bit, you can do that in other ways too. You don't have to like go out and play the casino games that everyone's playing on Twitter. You can do it by like liquidity providing. Liquidity providing gets you in there, pushing some buttons, gets you engaged with the blockchain every single day. You're adding a value to the blockchain, and it kind of scratches the itch a little bit. And I mean, you could go really heavy on the liquidity providing, and maybe you take 5% of that bag, and maybe you do your degen gambling plays. But I'll tell you guys, there is no doubt in my body that it's unreal. Everyone's coming for your Pulse. Everyone's going to be creating every new kind of degen protocol, any kind of Ponzi, any kind of meme coin, any kind of like, here's this, and there's admin keys involved. They're doing all this because they want your Pulse. No doubt about it. Don't even question it. This is the fact. They're after your Pulse, and that's why they're creating these protocols so they can grab your Pulse. Maybe you can get a pump out of it, and maybe you can play the law of meme coins like B-Roots does. But unless you're like the OG, understand how that works, you're probably going to get wrecked, and you're going to lose your Pulse to these guys. So be very careful. It's like you were saying in the early days with Ethereum, there's pretty much nothing that outperformed Ethereum, but everyone was coming after everyone's Ethereum. And that's why Ethereum is like the base. It's the base where everyone measures against. And if you play in Ethereum, like when you participate in a protocol, people are like, yeah, it costs, 0.5 Ethereum to get involved, or won't you just throw 1 ETH at it? And they do that because a lot of the early guys have such big ETH bags, they can measure everything in denomination in ETH. And that's what Pulse is. As we're starting out here in the early days, we're building these massive Pulse bags. So everyone's been measuring moving into the future in Pulse. So be very careful when people are like, yeah, just throw, 10 million Pulse at it. Like, no, my 10 million Pulse, man, what is that worth 2 years from now? Are you kidding me? Get out of here. And so it's, we're seeing it really bad on Twitter. And it's not to say there aren't some good protocols out there. I love Fux. I love Famous. I love Fiat. So I love the PH team. They're doing good work. There's other protocols that are going to do well too on the Pulse chain blockchain. Make sure you're doing your due diligence, making sure you have trust in the founders. Make sure that you understand if there's a passive income play out of it. You understand where the passive income is coming from. Someone had asked in our group, Dane, the other day about a protocol, and I don't think I'll mention the name because it's fairly new, and I don't want to give people wrecked if they're going to go get involved in it. Same reason why Richard Hart doesn't mention protocols. Everyone pretty much knows Pulse Bitcoin's a dead deal now, but like this one's brand new. And you could go in there and you could yield farm in this protocol or a single stake, but like where the passive income comes from, it's not LP providing. So we know clearly when you provide LP where that passive income is coming from is from people trading in and out of your assets, and they're paying you a fee. I need to know where the passive income is coming from and be very clear. Otherwise, it could be a Ponzi. In this particular protocol, what it does, if you go single side stake in it, or if you provide, I guess, their version of LP, you can do double side, two assets, you have to pay a 4% fee. You pay a 4% fee to get involved. So it takes you like a week or even 2 weeks to get the yield back. And from my understanding, like the way it works, you have to keep adding in to the protocol. That way it makes it profitable, which to me, man, what they're doing is they're paying old money with new money. So without adoption and without the growth of the protocol, eventually it will die out. And Dane, we've seen this a few times on the blockchain of Ethereum. And so that's what they're doing. They're playing that game. And then Pulse Police even did an audit on their, well, not an audit because Pulse Police is not technically auditors, but they bought the best you can get next to paying for an audit. And they saw that there's admin keys. They saw that they can mint the tokens to oblivion to who they want. Well, that sounds familiar. That sounds like the United States federal government. We got out of that, right? We don't want to be involved in that. We want to be involved in good sound protocols, and that's what this protocol does. And so I'm not going to be participating in any of that stuff. You need to make sure you're really doing your due diligence on what's out there. Good sound projects. I love everything Alex does. I love everything that Buck does. And there's going to be other good protocols coming too. Don't get me wrong. I like Power City. But really be careful, guys, of giving your pulse away for these new protocols launching, and even new fiat. Because like I said, that new fiat could be going into Pulse, and you could just be giving up multiple X's in the future.
Right. And we've talked about it on the show before too. And Corey and I have both, when we were newer to crypto, we've made the mistake where you saw somebody on Twitter or on YouTube say, hey, this is a cool new token. And that was why we went and bought it. And we didn't do a ton of research. We didn't, have any other good measurable reasons why we bought that token. We tend to get burned every single time on one of those. So a good measuring stick for me, and you guys can use this too, is I should verbally be able to tell somebody else why it is that I own something. And I should have a good reason. It should be a lot more than, hey, I saw somebody on social media say it was cool. And so that's been a really helpful, it's simple, but a helpful measuring stick.
Absolutely. And it's fine to listen to certain people on social media. I would say be careful of your influencers. But for example, I see Crypto Sloth in the chat here. And I'll listen to everything Crypto Sloth says because I know he's not in the game to try to for the greedy reasons. He's actually in there doing the due diligence, digging through the protocols, kind of going through with a fine-tooth comb to see if he sees any holes. And so I can use him as one point of reference, right? And I can listen to all his content. I can even have communications with him because we've had him on the show, and he's just a great individual, I feel like, in the space. But then I can go and find another individual who's good, giving good context out there, maybe Crispy Man, or maybe another one I like is what's his name? Axis Alive. I love him, and there are certain influencers out there who I do respect and I'll listen to, but then you still need to go out there and do your own digging around, go into the Pulse Police Telegram room, go into the actual, for example, if you're interested in Fox, go in their Telegram room and start reading through and asking questions, because that's the protocol's actual group that you can get involved in and really kind of dig through it, and then go talk to Dylan and Buck when they do a live Twitter space. They've done multiple spaces over and over again where you can go in there and ask all your Q&A. So do your own research, your own due diligence. Don't follow just one guy. Even don't listen to us. If we're like, hey, do this, no, we're not giving you advice. We're just telling you what we're doing with our portfolio. You need to go out there and come to your own conclusion on your portfolio and make a smart decision. No, guys, just don't sit back and listen to anybody, because that's just going to get you wrecked.
Agreed. This is an excellent comment. Although we aren't holding through the next few bear markets, but absolutely this could be the case. You sell your Pulse for nothing, and then it gets to $100 in 2030. And Richard's talked about it. There's a clip of him been going around where he says that, in his opinion, the best time to launch a protocol is in the bear market, to have 50 weeks to be able to wash out the non-believers and the paper hands. 50 weeks is just shy of a year, which the timing is playing out almost perfectly, where
that's funny.
Richard could rinse the people out prior to or leading shortly into after the Bitcoin halving, and we're off to the races. So That's really exciting, and we're seeing a lot of it right now, right? We're seeing the washing machine, like Sami says, where we're seeing a lot of the big bag holders, they're out of the game. And credit to B Roots. I thought this was really interesting. He posted on Twitter where he said that pulsechain and pulsex are different than hex because once you're out, you're out. It's not like hex where you stake it forever and you have this passive income that comes out so you can continually dump on the community. With pulsechain, when you're out, you're out. Unless you're able to trade back and buy back in lower, which we know most
Right.
people are no good at that. And so it's exciting because as we wash these people out, the big bag holders' bags are distributed in smaller chunks to a lot of different people who then, have less power to go and dump really heavy bags and move the price chart like the really big bag holders initially. And so, right place, right time. Couldn't be more excited to see more people get washed out to give us the pricing that we're experiencing today to be able to build our bags. The opportunity over this year is enormous, in our opinion, and couldn't be more bullish about Richard Hart and his tokens.
Absolutely, man. And don't be short-sighted. Remember, it's delayed gratification. If you're chasing other Ponzi's and meme coins or whatever you might be getting into, you're being short-sighted and you're trying to get rich quick, which crypto already has the capability of getting you pretty wealthy within the 2 to 4 years time span, depending on when you come in and you start getting involved. But like from this standpoint, it's about 2 years, maybe a little less, if you follow the Sami theory. And so, like, man, I mean, what asset class allows you to create tremendous wealth in a year and a half, in 2 years? Well, I know it's not real estate. I've created wealth out of real estate, but that's a whole different ball game, and it's gonna take more than 2 years. And I know it's not stocks, same thing. You can get wealthy in stocks, but it's gonna take you a while. I mean, those market cycles run about 8 years on average. And even then, when you can get a 20% gain, maybe a 50% gain, you get into the more crappier penny stocks, you might have like multiple X's. Those are like the meme coins of the stock world. And so there's no asset class that allows this kind of wealth building. So don't get too short-sighted. If you got that kind of itch, maybe go buy some lottery tickets. I don't know. Do whatever it takes to scratch the itch. But man, this is the best asset class, in my opinion, in the world. I mean, a year and a half, 2 years is all I got to wait. That's it.
Agreed. On that note, here's man. The more that Corey and I look at this, the more that we like it. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Oh, fucks.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't gone and checked out Fucks, once again, like we just talked about for essentially like 20 minutes, go and do your own due diligence. But we like Fucks, and specifically, one of the things that I really like is the opportunity to be able to come in and be a part of some of the pools. And the way that these pools work is rather than your traditional liquidity pool where you have two assets and you've got to bring 50, you've got to bring equal amounts in to be able to pair together. You can actually create an index of sorts where you can have multiple tokens in one pool weighted differently, and that can accomplish different purposes. And so, for instance, we were on a call the other day with Robert Allen, which is our partner in our group. Robert Allen has done $1.5 billion in volume during his real estate career, which is pretty remarkable. So we're pumped to have him in the fold. And we were talking about building a portfolio, and we were helping him think through what he wants to do and what type of exposure he wants to the Richard Hart ecosystem. And one of the things that he liked a lot, and we also liked, was being a part of this RH Maxi pool. And there's a few different reasons. The first is it's an easy way to get exposure to all of the Richard Hart tokens. There's a lot of very, very strongly held opinions as to which of the RH tokens will perform the best. But the fact of the matter is that nobody really knows. However, a really safe bet is to weight yourself heavily towards the layer one, which once again, like we talked about previously, tends to be a really good, solid bet. And most things don't outperform the layer one. And so the way this RH Maxi pool is set up, as you can see, it's got all of the RH tokens, but the percentage here, it's weighted towards, let me zoom in so you guys can see. Yep. It's weighted towards Pulse. And the heavier the token is weighted here in this pool, whichever basket you may be participating in, is the one that you're hoping or anticipating does better than the others. And so I like that it's weighted heavily towards Pulse. You've got Pulse X, you've got your 2 hexes, and I like that it's got small exposure to the incentive token. I can't find a single person that thinks that the incentive token is going to outperform all of this stuff. So it's important to be weighted very minimally in that direction if you don't think that one is going to perform very well. And so this index fund, if you will, of RH tokens is cool because you get exposure to all of it. You can earn this APR. Oh wow, it's grown a lot since I entered this pool a few days ago, which is cool. But you can earn the Fux token while you're doing this. You get exposure to all of these RH tokens, and it's a hedge knowing that you very well could guess wrong out of these 5 tokens which one performs the best. You've got a little bit of everything, and it minimizes volatility both to the downside and the upside. So you have pretty strong exposure here without really shooting yourself in the foot.
Absolutely. And even if you didn't want to come in here and create the liquidity pool part, you can actually go into the swap and just buy what's called Richard. Richard is the LP token it creates when you create the pool. And you can just come in, buy Richard, and now you've got exposure to all the assets, and you didn't even have to create the pool. So you can just do that if you want, just an easy way to have exposure to getting. Now, I recommend that people create the liquidity pool because it gives them the experience of doing this, because you're providing more value to the blockchain. You're providing more assets for people to trade in and out of, which is a valuable service. And so, but if you wanted to just try to do something simple, is there much liquidity for that one, Dame? Maybe there's not much liquidity for Richard.
I don't know if
there it is.
I don't know if it'll show me because oh, there we go.
And this is high price impact. So maybe there's not a lot for sale yet. So maybe we got to wait for a little more time to pass by. But it's really cool that you can create a token that is exposure to all his assets. So if you can't decide should I go in the Pulse? Should I go in the Pulse X? Should I get some hacks? Well, ideally you should have all of them, or you just go buy Richard.
Right. I really like new onboards. I think this makes it so much simpler to be able to bring people into the ecosystem, and rather trying to explain all of the tokens and help them think through which one is going to be the best, it's far more easy to say, hey, this is Richard. This is why I like him. I think he builds cool stuff, and these are his tokens. You can just go and get exposure to all of them in a really simple way and earn yield. So
not to mention, you have exposure to all the assets, but you are earning passive income in the background while you're having that exposure. And what's better than cash flow? Nothing. Well, maybe mad gains. Mad gains is probably the only thing that's better than cash flow.
Right. Agreed. So this is a really cool thing you guys can come and check out. Once again, do your own research. There is something to be said about where is it? There is something to be said about having wrap tokens that you're bridging over and having exposure to those. You have bridge risk, and so like your hex from Ethereum, your wrapped hex, something to take into consideration when you're doing this. But I really like this pool a lot.
Yeah, same with the stable coin pool, which is really cool. I'm getting about 100% APY on my stable coin pool.
It's wild.
You could put your stable coins. So you guys are DCAing, right? At least I hope you are. Don't be aping in, just aping for the heck of it. Buying green candles. You should be DCAing. Well, while you're waiting on your DCA, you can store them, and that's what I've been doing here in this pool and earn some passive income. Now, I did a DCA it was Saturday night because we just spun up our node validator. It was a lot of fun. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add just a couple more node validators. So I pulled out my pool, my stables. I went and bought my Pulse, and then I put my stables right back in the pool again. So it's a really cool just kind of store your money there and earn some passive income while you're not using it. And there's not much now. This is not financial advice, but there's not much impermanent loss risk, if any. The only risk, to your point, Dane, I would say there's probably 2 risks. One, you have those are wrap tokens, those are wrap stables that you bridged over, and you're keeping them in the pool. But I was keeping my wrap tokens over on pulsechain anyways, because I want a quick access without having to use the bridge. And so, like, there's the wrapped part that's a risk. The second risk that you could say is that, you know, Fux is a new protocol. We haven't battle tested it yet, so there is some contract risk to Fux, but it shouldn't be a big issue because Fux is a direct fork of the balancer protocol. So the code should be exact same. They've done their audits, so very limited risk, but nonetheless, it's still a risk. So those are your kind of your two risks while you're in there playing the game. Oh, there'll be a third risk. The third risk is like if one of these stable coins loses its peg and we're not to ever get its peg back. Say, for example, the USDT collapsed tomorrow for some stupid reason, then you're gonna have, then you would suffer a permanent loss against your other two stable coins that are keeping its peg. So, and those are my three the three ways I could think of that you have any kind of risk in here. And man, that is such a small and limited risk in comparison to any other liquidity providing, and you're getting 100% APY. Meaning, guys, over now this is it's dynamic, so it could change any time. But for example, if it were to stay this way over the course of a year, you would have all your economic energy back in 1 year. So if you had, say, 10K staked in here, well, over a year, you would have earned enough, and well, it's only a little bit of fees, but you would earn fees and you've earned enough in the Fux token passive income to give you that 10K back if it were to stay the same. Now, it's probably not going to stay the same. It will fluctuate, but still, that will give you an idea of how aggressive that passive income. I'll tell you guys, me and Dane come from the real estate world, and we understand passive income. We understand putting our money with operators like an oil. We have an oil and gas syndication type deal that we're involved in, and no one pays 100% passive income on like your dollar for keeping your dollar. You know, it's amazing. That's just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And now one of the other things I really like, and I think this is ingenious. So if we go back, and I'll give you guys a comparison. So if we come over to and look at pulsechain pricing, and we pull up the gosh, ink just keeps heading on down.
Dude, ink is just getting destroyed, man. I'm not destroyed myself. I don't know, like.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, you can see. So the ink token, it's just going down and down and down, and it. I mean, there's no utility. There's no reason to be holding it other than speculating. Whereas with Fux, and this is a really cool addition to the balancer protocol. With Fux, you can come in and you can stake your Fux for anywhere from, I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're quarters. So maybe it's like 90, 100. That sounds wrong. But anyways, you can come in. You can
up to a year. It's up to a year though, Max.
Up to a year. Yeah, thank you. So you can come in and you can stake your Fux. You can become part of this Fux wrap pulse pool, and you can see once again it's heavily weighted. They're trying to bootstrap liquidity. So you can create a liquidity pair where 80% of it is Fux and 20% is your pulse. And so you don't have a lot of risk on your pulse. We talked about not giving your pulse away early on. So you don't have to bet much pulse here to become part of this pool. But there's a reason to keep your Fux. There's a reason to hold it long term. And people can come in here and lock it up. Corey and we locked up, a little bit for a year. And so it holds the price up. And in fact, we've been seeing the Fux token grow pretty rapidly.
I wish you would stop.
In price appreciation, right? I do too. I wish I could freaking go get some for a decent price. But it has utility to the token, and the utility is not only if you can become part of this pool and earn APR, but also if you stake this, if you become part of this pool, you get Prime Fux token in return. And if you stake the Prime Fux token out for, once again, you can choose your time frame up to a year. If you stake it out, well, it gives you a bonus in your other pools. So you can see these APRs. Let's go with the Bridge Stable pool. Well, right now, the APR here is about 43%, but that's without any bonuses. And you get the bonus from taking your Prime Fux and staking it longer term. And if you do that, that's how you can get closer to this 106% APR. And so it's a really cool dynamic. And an interesting way that so far has caused the Fux token, the price to go up and to hold a really nice value. It'll be interesting to see if Richard implements some sort of utility to the ink token over on pulsechain. So something to consider.
We can only speculate that he will, and maybe I've seen speculation, which this would be cool, that he might have some kind of use case for it inside of his wallet. That'd be really, really sick if he did. I mean, we just don't know. We never know what kind of bag of tricks Richard has up his, his sleeve. We know that he's really good at those kind of bag of tricks and with tokenomics. So we'll wait and see. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm enjoying the liquidity providing on Fux. It's been a blast, and he's giving a lot of more airdrops in the future. He did a Twitter space yesterday.
Yeah, talk about the people that will be eligible for the next airdrop.
Yeah, so the next airdrop is going to be anybody who sacrificed for the famous protocol in the early sacrifice, not the most recent sacrifice. And I'm sure he will reward those guys somewhere down the road. So don't feel bad if you came in late on the second one. I'm sure there's a plan because he likes everyone who obviously participates in his protocol. So like it's the early bird fame, it's liquid loans, it's Power City, and it's Pulse Pot, which is I was really shocked on this one. I sacked for Pulse Pot. It's one of more of my degen sacks that I actually kind of like later on was like, man, I'd rather have put that towards like Fiat or more into famous or something that I felt more strongly about like Power City. So it's kind of that was more of a gamble in the early days. But regardless, nonetheless, I'm going to get a airdrop for sacking for Pulse Pot. And so that's going to be the next round. He said it's going to be out. The claim will be out in 24 to 48 hours. And guys, Buck has a very interesting thing that he likes to do. He likes to come out on a live Twitter space when it's about when the claim's about to go live, and it's basically first come first serve, where it's heavily weighted to the people who are claiming in the front, and then obviously it's going to shrink down towards the back end. And that way, he doesn't like people to come into his Telegram room 2 weeks, a month, 2 months later, and be like, "Hey, Buck, where's my free money?" Well, moron, you weren't around for it, so guess what? You don't get it. You weren't paying attention. So that's what he likes. He likes those type of game mechanics. I don't blame him. I guess I like it too. So just be on. You don't have to be there in the first day. You'll get plenty, but like you definitely want to keep tuned in on his Twitter. Keep tuned in the Telegram room, and so that way when you can get to your crypto and do your claim, you can do so and try to get as much as possible. He is airdropping quite, in my opinion, quite a large amount. It's 25% of the overall total supply. My first airdrop was very healthy. I was very happy with my first airdrop. My second airdrop should be good too because I had sacrificed for all those protocols. And he had reconfirmed again, guys, in the live Twitter, if you are in Fux now, and even if you're not qualifying for any of these other airdrops, which is perfectly fine, but if you're in Fux right now, using the protocol, doing LP in there, locking up a little bit of VFux, it's only gonna be a lot, maybe like $100 worth, because that's activity, right? You're using the protocol, try to do everything you can in there, and then even voting. So in there and just doing what the thing does and participating in the protocol, because remember, it's all on the blockchain, guys. Even when you vote, you got to sign it in your MetaMask. So everything is transparent on the blockchain. He's going to reward you in the future for that. So just for participating. So remember that. So you're going to see this passive income you're making now, but that's not the real number. It's going to be more because of the airdrops. It's insane. I'm absolutely having a blast with it. Once again, guys, you don't got to go and participate. And you can think that this is a scam. Do some due diligence. Do some homework. Don't get involved because we're just telling you what we're doing, what we like, and what we feel like, after our due diligence and after our research, that it has good product market fit and that could have a very a long-lasting, use case for the pulsechain ecosystem.
In fact, Corey, have you gotten an airdrop valued at what the Fux one was? Is that the largest airdrop you've gotten before?
That's probably my largest that I could think of to date. Yeah, to give you guys, I'll tell you the position. Like I won't tell you monetarily, but it was roughly a dolphin position.
Yeah. You got your airdropped a
I've never
dolphin.
been airdropped a dolphin position. Like what? What?
Mhm.
This is insanity. Because he's 25%. 25. No, I don't think any protocol has done 25% allocated to give away for free. Now, that's why also, guys, I think, and I could be totally wrong here, right? Because maybe the use case of Fox will outweigh the airdrops, but I still feel this is why I haven't bought any new Fox. I still feel strongly that we could see some downward price action because people don't value free money, and when they receive free money, there's a good portion of the that audience that's going to dump those tokens. And so we'll just have to see how it all plays out. And I could be wrong about this because of the strong use case and game mechanics inside the protocol, and that's perfectly fine if I'm wrong. But right now, I'm holding on buying any new Fucks, and I want to buy new Fucks, but I'm holding because I feel like there's a good opportunity we can see some downward pressure later in the future, because we know anytime, even when a new protocol launches, that newness is in the air and people are FOMOing, trying to get inside the protocol, where if you notice after a few months go by, the newness wears off. Other shiny objects come out, other things roll out. Maybe Richard Hart launches single-sided staking. Maybe the ink token has a purpose. We don't know, right? Other things will happen in the whole ecosystem that where the Fox FOMO will wear off, and maybe we see some dumping. We see some great pricing that we can go in and pick up dolphin positions for very cheap, for pennies on the dollar. I don't know, right? It's just my speculation. You got to come to your own conclusion.
Yeah. And imagine getting airdropped something that boosts your yield in the LP pools. Like it's such a cool thing. It's
more money on free money. Like I was trying to explain to our good friend David last night. He's a real estate guy, and he's very successful in real estate. And he owns another business. Amazing individual. And we had a good, probably 2-hour long conversation last night. And he just can't wrap his head around how you can make money, free money on your free money. And like it was just it only in crypto you can experience this, and this is why I love this asset class.
Absolutely. Well, we've had a number of great comments in the appreciate you guys reaching out, saying hello in the comments. We've got a ton of you guys on this morning, so it's great to see. This one was kind of funny. This morning I went to the doctor for a yearly checkup. He said, "Let's begin taking your pulse," which I said, "That's off scammers."
Oh, I love it.
I like it.
Stay wrecked.
That's funny.
Stay wrecked, doctor, with your 9-to-5 job.
That's right. Mudhog, we hope everything's going all right. Yeah, your blood work came back positive. That's great. We don't know what's going on, but we hope everything goes as well as it can.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yep. Crypto Sloth drumming up some slides for a stream vid right now on Fox.
Well, please, man, Crypto Sloth, man, you go deep. You understand game mechanics beyond what my brain can comprehend. So, man, let us know, man, in Twitter or whatever when that stream's going to be. I would love to hop on live, or at least watch live. I would love to watch live. So.
Absolutely. And to Corey's point, so I mean, Corey and I both feel like, and it hasn't shown it yet, but we feel like there's going to be a pullback at some point, below. I feel like below where pricing's at right now on Fox.
So it's like a 3x.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And so literally, Corey's got more. I didn't qualify for this first airdrop because for security, I moved my pulsechain sack to a new wallet, and I'd sold my e-fiat, so I didn't qualify. I wish I would have held my e-fiat because you'd have gotten the same dollar amount in the airdrop, just about.
That's where the bulk of the airdrop, the first round,
right? But even so, I went in. I only bought $100 worth of Fucks. I paired it with what is that? It'd be like $20, $30 of Pulse to get into to get into the Prime Fucks pool, and that
now you're participating.
Yeah, you're participating. And it was, and honestly, even that little bit. I mean, let me show you guys. Even that little bit of Fucks, and then I went and staked that little bit of V Fucks for a year. That little bit, it boosted my yield here in the RH Maxi pool that I went in, fairly strong. It boosted it by almost 10%.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe it was. Maybe I'm overshooting. It was like 5 to 10%. So
Up
just that
$100.
extra $100, yeah, boosted it, and I've got a lot more than $100 in this pool, and so that was cool. Cool to see. So there's some math that might be helpful for some of you that may want to participate. Cool, guys. Well, we appreciate you being on. Is there anything that you want to touch on before we wrap up today, Corey?
Yeah. So we have actually, yeah, there's an announcement. We are going to have Buck, Fiat, and Dylan on Friday. We're trying to lock a time on. I'm thinking maybe 5:30 EST is what we'll try to lock in, and it's gonna be fun, guys. I would recommend coming in if you guys are curious about the protocol or want to participate. Come on and ask all your questions. This is how you this is part of doing your due diligence, getting straight to the horse's mouth and asking them what does what and how does what. If you think if there's some, some, I guess, FUD, if you have, then ask them about it and see what their response is. This is how we go and dig and find out, what we're going to get involved in. So yeah, we're going to have them on Friday, and then I think next Monday we're going to have RH Max on. So we got some good guests coming on. I'm absolutely excited.
Yep. Awesome.
Oh, good. If Crystal Sloss says pullbacks are probable, then let's go.
Yep. We agree. So awesome. Thanks for being on, you guys. Seriously, we appreciate your willingness to tune in here. Make sure to smash the like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're here to pump everybody's bag. So with that, we hope you have an awesome day.
See you guys.
See ya.